long after the initial injury. A brain injury can change a life in a matter of seconds. It can affect memory, thinking, personality, emotions, movement, and independence. Yet, for many survivors, the most difficult part begins after the hospital stay, when the world expects you to be back to normal. But brain injury recovery is rarely straightforward. It can be slow, it can be unpredictable, and very often the challenges are invisible. Someone may look perfectly well on the outside, yet struggle every day with fatigue, or concentration, or sensory overload, emotional regulation, or memory. These hidden difficulties can affect work, relationships, parenting, identity, and many more.
One thing that I want to point out and why I'm speaking about the community aspect, Headway itself is a community. I have two of our members, Jean-Marc and Saskia, here from Headway today. Thanks, guys. We often say that Headway is a family, and we really mean it when we say it. We are a community of people. Brain injury, sustaining a brain injury, is an extremely isolating experience, not just for the survivor of brain injury themselves, but for their family members. We say that brain injury happens to a family, not to just an individual. It affects the entire family system, even if only one member of the family themselves is in recovery. Let's talk about what makes it isolating. The average person, hence why we're here today, has no idea what head injury even is, what it's about in the first place. They don't know what it means, they don't know how to even engage with it in the first place. How many times I've heard the story that family members, distant family members, have come to our survivors of brain injury and asked them, so when are you getting better? It's been 3 months now, or 6 months, or 9 months. Why are you still sick? They don't understand it. Often the people who have sustained the injury themselves, who have survived it, don't understand the full scope of what's happened to them either. It affects every area of life, and this isolating effect comes in the form of not understanding what's happened to you, not feeling safe to go out to the world. Some of our members find it extremely overstimulating just to be out in public, to be interacting with random people, to hear all those noises, and they don't even know why it's happening, so they stay at home. Family and friends stop understanding why you're different. Why aren't you acting the way that we're used to you acting? So you stay at home. The isolation becomes self-imposed and also imposed by the environment around the person, and that affects your recovery process holistically as well. If a person is isolated, they're more likely to be depressed, they're more likely to feel hopeless about their situation, and they're less likely to engage in their recovery at all in the first place. Now, I want to be very clear that managing a brain injury is a lifelong thing that you're engaging in. This is a chronic disability. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a lot to recovery. The road to recovery is long, but it is not at all, what's the word? It's not limited in terms of how far you can go. No, you will not return to pre-injury functioning, but there's so much you can regain, and people do not have that sense of hope, and they don't engage in their recovery process at all. So, family and friends, abandoned. I want to also just say, our members, I don't think I've ever heard a story where someone has gone through an injury and come out the other side with all of their relationships intact. People tend to disappear as a result. That leads to, again, isolation, hopelessness, depression, no engagement in recovery. It is extremely traumatic to have survived an event that gives one a brain injury. It is an extremely difficult thing to go through, and then you have to go through it alone, which is hard enough for us as human beings as it is. When we involve the community aspects, now when we're talking about recovery, recovery is made up of all sorts of things. We've got speech therapy, we have occupational therapy, physiotherapy. All of these are extremely important, and counseling. And forgive me, you'll have to take my word for it. I tried to find this study so I could actually give a citation, but I wasn't able to come up with it. A few years ago, I read a study that talked about outcomes related to recovery in brain injury and what leads to better outcomes, more satisfying outcomes, more well-being. Everything I just mentioned, speech, OT, all very important, counseling. The most important thing, the thing that brings people together and brings up their quality of life, is support groups. It's taking a room of people much like yourselves, putting them together and allowing one person to go, I understand what you're going through. Here's how I've experienced it. I may know a lot about the recovery process with brain injury and how it affects a person. I have no idea what it's like to actually go through it yourself. I can only do so much. Just putting people in a room together where they can say, oh yeah, I've experienced that, and I did this, and this, and this, and this, makes all the difference in the world. At Headway, we have what we call our Headway Friendship Circle program, which is our support groups that run monthly/weekly. It's weekly, but a different group per site every month. And I found that for those that do attend those groups, they come away so much lighter, knowing that someone else has experienced what they've experienced, that they aren't crazy, that there's advice that they can actually action. Oh, you were in a wheelchair 4 years ago and now you're just walking around. I didn't even know that was possible. It does so much for one's well-being, but we have to get ahead of that isolation. If you're isolated, if the world is stigmatizing you, and if you are stigmatizing yourself, you are not going to reach out to those areas where you can receive that assistance. For our caregivers and family members of our survivors as well, it's an extremely isolating experience, caregiving. It's difficult. People don't really get it. I think as a society, people are largely aware of the difficulty of caregiving for something like Alzheimer's or dementia. People don't really understand when it comes to ABI, to acquired brain injury, my apologies. And so again, people leave, caregivers are left by themselves in a new role trying to manage this whole thing that's happened without any kind of support for themselves, and now they also have to caregive for somebody. It's an extremely difficult process. In terms of emotional well-being, counseling helps a lot. Support groups help a huge amount, and advocating for oneself to know what you're experiencing, to know that you're not crazy, and to be able to educate others does so much for undoing that stigmatization. Okay, almost there. Okay. I want to say that it is a difficult road, but it is totally doable. If I can again lean on Jean-Marc and Saskia, who've been with us for a while at this point, I've seen both of them grow immensely since I first met them. And I haven't, at least in Jean-Marc's case, did not meet him at the beginning of his journey. He's grown a lot since I've met him.
I'm sort of a wandering TBI. I'm a Glasgow Scale 3 survivor. What was really miraculous about it was ketamine. At the time it was taboo, but they used that, and I'm very grateful to have found Headway. And then I sort of got the feeling that maybe I'm a bit too high functioning right now, or something like that. And then I drifted away, and then my mom died, and I just felt so alone. And then my mom passed away in 2016, and then I came back to Headway, and this is where.
Just point out on that, Sean, I'm sorry to jump in.
No, it's cool.
For the sake of time, but it's the community aspect
exactly.
that you're speaking about that has been so helpful here.
Yeah.
One cannot engage in their recovery process fully alone. Isolation hurts us deeply. I think that's everything I have to say. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Early on, in order to ensure better integration later on, can you give us a tip? What should we do or add to what we do already that would make it easier for people in the long term?
I really strongly believe in connecting people to community. This is hard enough as it is. If you're by yourself, it's way harder. Connecting other people to community, I have seen our members at Headway do so much more for assisting others in terms of scaffolding and recovery and emotional well-being than I've been able to do. I really think that keeping people disconnected, not that it's done intentionally, but if others can be connected to a community that fosters hope, which has amazing ramifications for your outcomes in recovery.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much for that. There's a lot of connection opportunity after this hour. So we left an hour for sit down and an hour for connecting. So please do do connect with Headway and all the other speakers and each other after the session. Thanks, Michael. And I really would like to give Michael